Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Up-Beet Dietitians podcast.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the season finale. Whoa, we are ending it on a bang today. As you saw by the title, we are reviewing a fellow dietitian and her recent supplement line that just came out. We'll get there. Before we get into that, though, as always, some housekeeping. Be sure to go subscribe to the YouTube channel to see our faces as well as any little graphics that we might throw in there, just to sort of help paint the picture of our chat today. We have exclusive content on Spotify, but if you guys tuned in last week, you might remember that we're trying to migrate over to Substack. So as of right now, as we're publishing this episode, we're still on Spotify, but after this season, things might be different. So we're ending the season per usual, but we might have some new updates next season, if not sooner. So be sure to go follow us on Instagram too for updates over there. But yeah, today we're talking about Abbey Sharp, one of the bigger dietitian presences. If you're on that side of the internet, I'm sure you have seen her videos.
Yeah.
Should be interesting today. We have a lot to say.
Yeah. And I feel like since she's so big, especially like for the folks over here on YouTube, if you've been on YouTube at all the past like 10 years and you've seen anything nutrition related, you probably know who she is or have seen her face at least once. So it's going to be interesting because there was some controversy around the protein powders that she released, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to plug right away. We have a supplement episode that we made years ago. And anytime we talk about supplements, we're going to talk about that episode. So be sure to listen to it after this one. But I see Hannah has some videos pulled up that we might start with.
I mostly included them for us to like watch on our own, but we can link them in the show notes for you guys to watch if you want to.
Okay.
If there's any relevant clips, we might include them in the episode edit, but they are a couple of episodes that are YouTube videos that Abby published on her page, basically like marketing her supplement and kind of the why behind it and the science behind them. So if you'd like to hear Abby's point of view and sort of see where we're getting our information from, those are two good videos to watch by Abby. There's also one more. I'll plug it now so I don't forget. We'll include it below as well. But when we get to our cons today, our list of cons with Abby's supplement, a YouTube channel called Unnatural Vegan. She also made a video about this supplement, just like we're doing right now. She breaks down all of the ingredients and everything really, really well. Better than probably we will today, honestly. So go tune into that one as well. But this one comes first. Watch us first, and then head over to those if you do want to just like continue this rabbit hole that you've got into.
Yeah. Cool. Let's get into it. We have some disclaimers we're going to throw right out there before we actually do. So sorry, we're not getting into it yet. It is tough out here for dietitians. We recognize that. We experience this every single day. The internet does not like, the majority of the internet does not like dietitians, and we do not want to add on to the hate that goes toward dietitians. Also, we are dietitians, so we're coming from a very interesting standpoint there. But it is important that accountability is taken and discussed. So that does not mean just because we are dietitians, we stand behind every dietitian and every single thing they do and post about. So we will know we are not Abby's target audience. No, she is not making videos for us.
No, we don't watch her videos on a regular basis.
Her content, no. And we're just going to more so talk about the supplement industry, her viewpoint toward the supplement industry, how it might have changed when she developed the protein powder, kind of unpacking that a little bit. And there are many dietitians with supplement lines. There are actually a couple that we have talked about off air that we eventually would like to talk about, but we have a slight fear of defamation. Defamation, is that the word?
I think so. I think you actually said that right. Yeah.
I know. I was really scared I was going to say defecation, but
that's what I heard in my head, but I knew what you were trying to say. So that's on me.
but we're scared of getting sued by some of these people. So it might take us a little bit to come around to them, but apparently we aren't nervous. We're not going to say anything today that Abby will try to sue us for.
No, again, this is not an attack on Abby personally. It is more so an essay about just this industry that we're in. Like Emily said at the beginning, like we are struggling as content creator dietitians, and there are so many influencers who are not dietitians doing what Abby did, but way worse because they have no education whatsoever. So they're just like making the most ridiculous supplements out there. So we'll go over pros and cons today. There are some pros to Abby's protein powders. They could be a good fit for you. Again, our talk today is not really about Abby specifically or her powder specifically. We'll go into the nitty gritty a little bit there, but again, more so about the industry and just kind of the hypocrisy of it all. And I don't know. We've jokingly said that maybe we'll eventually succumb to the supplement industry ourselves or something like that. The weight loss industry, something. We say it with jokes, as you guys hopefully can, tell.
Pick up.
Yeah. But I can sort of, what's the word? Like empathize, I guess, with wanting to go for the cash grab. Yeah. Because it's tough out here.
It's tough out here for a little dietitian.
Yeah. Oh, and also we're not anti-supplement either. Again, this might be a good protein powder for you. We'll kind of break down who it could be for. If you listen to our supplement episode, like episode 4, so years ago, we might have to like redo it, honestly, because
I think we should do an updated one. I'm nervous what we had to say back then.
We always feel nervous referencing our old episodes because we're different people now. But in general, our viewpoint now is that, food first if you can, supplements play their role if we're doing our due diligence to make sure they're not going to like give us liver failure or something.
Yeah. Let's get into it though. So
let's get into it.
Who is Abbey Sharp? If you don't know who she is, Abby, I didn't know she was Canadian. Canadian registered dietitian and YouTuber. She I feel like is known for her YouTube presence. She does a lot of reviewing people's what I eat in a day. She does a lot of pop culturally diet culture reviews. Her largest following. She also has large followings though on TikTok and Instagram as well. She's seen all over social media, but YouTube is really the biggest thing that she became known for.
I think that was kind of like her gateway. Most content creators, as you guys probably know, like they'll have like their main platform, and they kind of like dabble in the others just to like have a presence there. But Abby's definitely like the OG dietitian YouTuber from our perspective. Really big following, posting consistently for like a decade or more at this point. She's really built a platform over there.
Yeah.
Getting into her recent drama, there's a few things. So of course the supplement, we'll talk about that today. We'll get more detail into that in a minute. From our perspective as like HAES aligned, weight neutral dietitians, Abby makes content oftentimes. She's never like claimed to be a HAES dietitian, a weight inclusive dietitian, but she does talk a lot about like anti-diet, and she like has intuitive eating type content.
And food freedom.
Food freedom's a big one.
She put food freedom a lot in her on her website about the supplement. So
yes, I have a lot of thoughts on that. I'm sure you do too. So yeah, you can see kind of like where her head's at. She says similar things that Emily and I would say, but then she's pretty wishy-washy about it. And like lately it seems like she's posting a lot more weight loss stuff. If you look at her recent YouTube videos, again, like I can empathize with like the clickbait and like needing to get people to watch your videos and all of that. But I mean, so much talk of Ozempic and weight loss tips and metabolism and things like that. It just does not align with being a quote food freedom dietitian.
It's like, do you remember that scandal about the dietitian who made the blog post that with the racist title? Do you remember that?
The food blogger?
Well, yes. She's also a dietitian.
Yeah, but it was like a food, like a recipe blog, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I remember
So
that.
to give you guys very brief backstory, because there are many dietitian scandals online, there was a dietitian who used the term Oriental to describe a like Asian
Was it a chicken
inspired
salad or
salad, I
something?
think.
Yeah.
And they got called out and they like really stood their ground or like, no, this isn't racist at all. But they were using, and like, it's not okay to use the word Oriental to describe Asian folks. Like, that's a very outdated term. Also, like, when they look into the salad, there's nothing Asian about it.
I
So
was
it's
gonna say
like,
it was
what?
just a basic salad.
Like, I think it might have had like the crunchy things in it, like a little crunchy. And people are like, this is not Asian, whatever. But she used that term for SEO purposes.
Mhm.
And like, even if like you don't mean negative things, like when you feed into that, like with Abby posting more and more about weight loss and whatnot, sure, it's great for clickbait and SEO, but that's because like we're in such a diet culture focused world and we're trying to move away from that. So when you keep feeding into that, maybe the videos won't do as well if you don't put weight loss in your title, but there's ways you can go about that differently.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit confusing as a viewer from the outside of what is happening. Like I think from our perspective, since we both do YouTube, we're seeing it as her views are low and she's trying to get them back up.
Yeah.
We understand the struggle there. Go follow both of our YouTube channels, guys.
Please.
Help us out, please. So like we feel for her there, but from the side of someone who's not a dietitian, or even like I don't want to say she's an anti-diet dietitian because she's like, I don't want to label her as something as she's does not claim to be.
Yeah.
It's very confusing when she preaches food freedom, but then makes all these videos about weight loss. Even
Yeah.
if it is just the title.
Exactly. Like again, we're not sitting and watching hours of her content. That's just we're not her target audience, like Emily said.
Yeah.
So the videos very well may be anti-diet in nature, but if that thumbnail and title say what they say, it can still be triggering for someone who is
Yeah.
seeking true like food freedom, weight neutral, like Haze aligned content.
Yeah.
Ugh,
It's
tricky,
tricky.
tricky,
Yeah.
tricky, tricky. Okay, a big part of our content as well is
I feel like this
reviewing.
is
This is like
the
the
most
most
controversial.
controversy,
Yeah.
especially before the supplement line came out. This was like her big, people love it or hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of mentioned already, she tends to make a lot of content on like TikTok, where she reviews people's full day of
Mm-hmm.
eating. They'll be like, here's my X number of calories day of healthy eating, and Abby will like review it and like give her input. She does a lot of like celebrity reviews too on YouTube, and like her longer form content. She'll do like reviewing Kylie Jenner's day of eating. And I see pros and cons to this, mostly cons, but as a pro, it is providing some, I guess, like bits and pieces of education for nutrition. And if people don't have access to a dietitian, they can't get a lot of information that is actually unique to them, it might be helpful. Like bits and pieces of it might be.
Mm-hmm.
But the con is that the person that she is reviewing, like the person's full day of eating, this is just like unsolicited information, education being given to you, or more so like presented to you in a way that you probably didn't actually want. Like
Yeah.
if I was on a weight loss journey and I posted my weight loss full day of eating, I don't think I'd want a dietitian to review that and like give their 2 cents unless I was asking for it. Like
Yeah.
that's, I don't know, I would feel uncomfortable with that, I think.
I do think though, like there's like one little side of me in the like back of my head that's like the weird thing about the internet is once you like post, you're kind of opening yourself up to like
That's
any
true.
type of commentary.
Yeah.
Whether it is nice, that is a different story. Like
Yeah. And Abby
people have,
usually is like
yeah,
gentle with her approach.
yeah. And like we post general nutrition things and everyone gives their feedback, no matter their credentials or if we ask for it or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very tricky thing with like not like if you're looking for just like, oh, sharing a fun like little what I ate today or like wanting to share what I ate with other people and then someone's out here like critiquing it. I feel like and you don't want that, like that'd be like a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
But I also think that like it's this weird thing where we're like,
What's the social media etiquette here? Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like you open yourself up to getting interacted with, and you don't really have a choice of how people choose to interact with your content. So it's
Very true.
a tricky balance. I think one, people should be nice and respectful, which like Abby typically is,
Yeah.
unless they're body checking. She calls them out quite quickly for that, which like, you know what, we agree with that. Body
And
checking.
she claims to have like sass and snark is like a big her claim to fame. And she
Yeah.
does, she's sassy, she's snarky, but so are we. She doesn't do it in
Yeah.
a way that's usually rude.
And also typically that's the type of content that gets more views. People like people
Yeah.
with stronger opinions, whether
Yeah.
it's one way or another. So it is a very tricky thing. I remember like Hannah and I saw a video, I think it was like a year or two ago, where this girl was going off, where she's like, I wanted to post my little video and this dumb nutritionist came at
Oh, yeah.
me. And like everyone was like, it's Abbey Sharp, isn't it? And I
Ooh.
sent it to you. I was like, oh, okay.
The
And it
tea
popped
is
up on my
hot.
For You page. I'm like, what does my For You page think about me?
I know.
But it's like, I definitely see it both ways.
Yeah, me
I think
too.
it's an unfortunate side of being on the internet where people can, whether it's like a professional giving their insight or someone not qualified, you're going to get feedback either way.
And yeah, like once again, I want to be able to like if someone's going to be doing this, I'm glad it is a dietitian with like
Yeah.
some sense of food freedom, anti-diet. At least there's like bits and pieces of that being thrown in there. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
like if I don't know, I posted what I eat in a day, my comments are always like, oh, your processed foods and your added sugars, blah, 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 like uneducated commenters saying those things. So agreed. I think a good pro is that she's a dietitian, like she's truly educated and she can give good insight. It's just what is the etiquette of that on the internet, you know?
Yeah. It's a little bit of a mess.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the supplement though, more specifically, kind of the main point today, although we're what,
Yeah.
20 minutes in by now?
We're finally getting here, guys.
Oh boy.
Abby's been around for a while, so we had to address all of her other things first.
Yeah.
But okay, I don't want to say the name of the supplement because I feel like I'm going to
It's
say
just
it wrong.
new.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But then I got in my head, I'm like,
I've heard that it's
Neue?
German. I think
New?
it's German, but it's funny because don't they mostly speak French along with English in Canada?
Yeah,
So I don't know where German comes in. I saw some people from Germany commenting on the name in Abby's YouTube video.
maybe Abby's ethnicity is German
Perhaps
and she wants to go honor her people.
back to her roots. Yeah. But yes, it's called New Theory, Neue. And their main claim is it's made for women by women. Abby, of course,
Which
is like the main gal, which yeah, we love.
we
Like we
love
love a woman on
women-based.
business.
Yeah.
As of right now, she only has 2 products along with the shaker bottle. So I guess 3 total.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 products are the same, it's just different flavors. She has the chocolate silk plant-based probiotic protein powder. Whew, that is a word salad. And the vanilla
Yeah.
silk plant-based probiotic protein powder. And kind of their tagline is, quote, the protein powder that doubles as your probiotic.
Yeah.
We have pros and
I'm kind of,
cons.
I was just gonna say, I'm glad she didn't release a million supplements at once because that like is fishy when they do that.
That's one of my big pros is like, as a dietitian myself and a human, a consumer myself, protein powder is the one supplement that I rely on myself. And if someone is in need of it, I don't recommend it to everybody, but if someone could benefit, I would recommend a protein powder, one that is a high quality one. So same. I'm glad that that's where she's at and not posting the fat burners. I mean, tune into last week's episode with Kourtney Kardashian's Lemmy line. Like a
Yeah.
vaginal probiotic. Like it's the wild, wild west out here. And she is being pretty mild with just having this protein powder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It could be far worse. Being a dietitian as well, Abby's very big on claiming to be very transparent and being in the supplement industry that is hard to find. And so her products, thankfully, are third party tested. At first, you could not find the testing information on the website. You had to like email customer service to like get the third party testing info. People were peeved about
Oh,
that, understandably
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I believe you can see it now though.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also has an FAQ, frequently asked questions section, outlining basically each ingredient and like why she added what she did. And this is where I again want to plug the episode or the video by Unnatural Vegan, because they do a great job breaking down each of these and like if they're really necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing I want to point out, I guess, actually I have a few things I want to point out. The overall umbrella idea though of what I want to say is that some of these ingredients that she added, like tart cherry, for example, or ashwagandha, they seem to be added in pretty random amounts and based on limited studies that may or may not apply to the population that she's selling to. Again, Unnatural Vegan does a great job breaking that down and like shares links to studies and such. That's sort of, again, the overarching idea here is like, why are these ingredients added? Like she explains why, but it still doesn't
Still
seem
not as
necessary for
clear.
a lot of these.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So again, like this is a step up big time from a lot of supplement lines.
Yeah. It's
Many
something
of
a
them
little
are
better to start.
exactly like not everyone is breaking down all of their ingredients and linking studies and doing all of that.
And I think the third party testing is legit. I tried to look a little bit into Eurofins. I'm not familiar. It's a French based company.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it seems legit and like other people use it. So maybe it's like popular in Canada more so. Any
She
of our
said,
Canadian listeners.
yeah, let us know. She did say in her video, I watched it a little bit ago today, that her manufacturer or someone that she worked with for the supplement also worked with lots of other big supplement brands. So I'm assuming that's what she's
This
talking
was the one
about.
they all use. Yeah.
And it's a popular one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems legit.
Yeah. As mentioned, it is a plant-based product, a plant-based protein. So could be a possible pro if you don't tolerate whey protein.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel like people who have like, if you don't tolerate whey, lactose issues potentially, this is great for that.
Yeah. I will say we'll get to price later, but there are a ton of plant-based proteins out there these days. Ones that may be a lot more cheap for like a lot more in your budget compared to this one and will get the same job done. Again, not to keep plugging Unnatural Vegan. I don't even know who they are besides just one video I watched,
I was
but
gonna say you're really a big fan.
I'm a big fan of just one video. They did a great job like breaking down numbers and like studies and all of this. They did do a breakdown of like what it would cost to get like pretty much all the ingredients in Abby's protein powder like on their own. And it's like way cheaper to just like buy some tart cherry juice, some ashwagandha, and a pea protein.
Yeah.
You'll have the same outcome basically. So at this point, it's kind of like you are buying this protein powder because you're a fan of Abby's. That is usually who is going to be buying this product.
Yes. Yeah. We are not the target audience.
Once again, we are
we
not the target
are
audience.
not the target audience for this. This next part is interesting to me. The protein and probiotic combo is so interesting.
I have never seen a supplement with that. I will say, like, that is, I don't know if revolutionary is the right word, but unique,
this is an
I
original
guess.
thought potentially.
Yeah.
But Abby has talked about IBS in the past and her journey with it. So this is probably a little bit more like personal to her, where she wanted to like promote gut health. Also, gut health is in very much in. So using that angle, also with a protein powder, like probably one of, if not the most common supplement recommended in general. So having that combo is great.
Yeah.
For what is going on right now and what is, I don't want to say trendy, but talked about a lot. And this is interesting to me because like as an IBS girly, I get nervous when there are gut promoting things and anything like,
yes.
and I'm like, how is this gonna interact? Like, what if I just want a protein powder?
Exactly.
And I
Like,
want to support her, where I'm really into the ingredients. I want the tart juice, I want the ashwagandha, but I don't want this specific probiotic strain.
yeah,
So it's kind of,
exactly.
I feel like she's like tunneling herself a little bit here with that. I could have easily seen her doing just a protein powder, but then one that's also gut health focused.
Like having two different kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be good. Let's trademark, let's steal her design
We told you
before she
guys
could.
we might fall for the cash grab.
But I feel like that would have made sense, like especially people who are a little bit more nervous. Also, we have multiple gut health episodes with our now resident dietitian, Samina. We will link both of those. She talks about probiotics, prebiotics. She talked about the poppy lawsuit. We've had her talk about
We
leaky
discussed
gut
IBS, didn't we? Just like as a
and
whole.
IBS. We have a whole IBS episode with
Yeah.
her. So we will link those if you'd like to hear more. They're really good episodes. But this whole thing makes me a little nervous.
IBS is just so volatile that like, and I always talk to patients who have IBS. It just is so seemingly random. It's like one day you can tolerate celery, and the next day it like you're on the toilet all day. Like it just totally depends. And like you were saying with the probiotic, like, is that the right strain for you as an IBS girly versus someone else who takes it? With the digestive enzymes that are in this, like, do we even need those if we don't have a deficiency in that digestive enzyme?
Yeah.
And like, if you did start taking this and your gut did start to feel better, how do you know if it's the probiotic that's in it? Is it the ashwagandha? Is it the enzymes? Like, there's so many quote gut health
Things in it.
ingredients in this that it would be hard to know what's actually doing anything. And also, you might take this and have absolutely no benefit. It could even make things worse for your
Mm-hmm.
IBS. It's not a
Yeah.
guarantee.
I feel like I would be nervous to take this because I'm like, I'm also like a protein powder girly, but I like only use it really when I want to supplement.
Yeah.
So like if I wanted to supplement with a protein powder, I'd be like, is today an okay stomach day where I could potentially risk having like where my stomach's a little bit more sensitive and I could have a negative reaction. But then I feel like where you have like a stomach of steel, you would probably be a little bit more
I'd be just
okay.
fine taking this, but her market is IBS girlies who are,
Yeah.
again, like their bellies are so reactive and so random on like how it's going to be day to day that it's just,
And not even just on food. Like IBS is affected by so much like stress,
uh-huh.
sleep,
Well, it's funny because the
exercise, like
ashwagandha is added to help.
with your sleep
It's supposed to,
or
ashwagandha is
relax.
a big stress supplement. It's used to help
Mm-hmm.
combat stress. And she claims that the ashwagandha is added to the protein powder to help with like IBS that is induced by stress. So it's like a really roundabout thing. It's not like ashwagandha helps IBS. It's ashwagandha may help stress, which may help IBS.
Which
It's
I
a,
can see that. Like
yeah,
I can understand her logic behind it,
but
but
evidence is limited.
it does feel like there's like a lot of things thrown into this that are these things that she might be very passionate about, but like, do they go together and is there enough research behind it?
Yeah. Again, like there's so much worse out there
Yes.
that we've talked about even on the podcast and plenty that we haven't discussed. So there's worse, and this overall could be a fine choice for you, but we're just trying to really outline that it's a lot of marketing. She's very good at marketing this product. And again, if you're
Mhm.
like a big Abbey follower, you've trusted her for years,
Yeah.
you might just kind of blindly follow without digging into it. That's where we come in. Like we spend the time to go into this and like deep dive and get nitty gritty to help you guys just kind of know what matters and what doesn't, I suppose.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I think overall, the idea of a protein and probiotic is cool. Like it's a cool idea, but is it necessary? You can literally, if you are an IBS person and if you are unsure of like these ingredients, which understandably so, I would be too if I had IBS, you can literally buy just like straight up unflavored pea protein. And like, for
Yeah,
sure, if you tolerate peas,
you'll
for
be
sure
okay.
that's going to be fine for you.
Yeah.
Versus this one that has pea and
And
hemp protein, but also 10 million other ingredients as well.
I was gonna say you could also like try all the other ingredients by itself too to see how you do it, how
Exactly.
you
So
handle
forget
it
about
or
the
tolerate it.
protein and maybe just try taking ashwagandha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was supposed
It's
to be a
interesting.
pro, but ended up being sort of a con.
It I feel like a lot of these can go either way, and that's okay.
Yeah. Should
Nutrition
we,
is not black and white, as we continue to say.
since day one, that's our one
We
thing we
have
have
we
stood
have
true to that.
consistency there.
Okay.
This last pro, I will say,
Yeah.
we mentioned it at the start, just like glad that she's only selling a certain number of things and not things that are just like blatant money grabbers, like
Yes.
fat boosting, metabolism or fat burning, metabolism
I mean,
boosting.
GLP-1 supplements, like last week's episode,
Yeah,
like that's
that was a whole
crazy.
different world compared to this one. This is much more tame and I would say like valid potentially.
Yeah. The beef this week is much different than what we were like upset about last week. This is more about like
Yeah.
ethics and dietetics and things like that versus last week was supplements that suck
Yeah.
and the
Let's
Kardashians.
yeah. Let's talk about the cons. This
Let's.
is this is interesting. I feel like this is like a buildup of a lot. So, like we've mentioned, Abby's been around for at least a decade, at least on YouTube and whatnot.
Online. Yeah.
And people trust her. She's very polarizing. Like we said, she's very strong in her opinions. Like, but that's like what people want online. People don't like us because we're so wishy-washy and we're not gonna tell you to never eat ashwagandha again or whatever. Like, there's a lot of gray space in nutrition, and there always will be gray space. But she has repeatedly called out the diet industry for issues. She has included the supplement industry because they deserve a lot of criticism. And then she like suddenly creates her own. And from a viewer standpoint, and we're going to talk about the price because that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
It looks very much like similar marketing, similar product, not to all of them, obviously, not like Kourtney Kardashian's, because that's a scary place over there.
That was
Cute
wild.
website. Supplements, a little scary,
Yeah.
but it looks like a money grab from someone that might have been loyal to you for like 10 plus years. I remember like
Yeah.
I think where were you when Abbey Sharp announced her protein powder supplement line? I found out from you because
Uh-huh.
Abbey Sharp is nowhere on my For You page or anywhere that I
I followed her
post
for a
anything.
while. So I saw it because I followed her. But
Mhm.
recently I have hit unsubscribe and unfollow because I'm just like, not target audience.
Yeah. So it was like, whoa, crazy. And it is exciting to see her talk about like more evidence-based things than like I feel like any slash majority of supplement companies will talk about. And it felt good to like have a dietitian on the end. I feel like a dietitian that's respected on
Yeah.
the end, but it was a little weird. The energy was a little weird.
I feel like if she hadn't spent so much of her career bashing the diet industry and supplement industry, it wouldn't have been such a like shock to see her make her own supplement.
Mm-hmm.
But since she has like built a platform talking about how terrible the supplement industry is, which again, it is, we talk about all the time too.
Yeah.
I think that is what made it so everyone was kind of like, whoa, hold up here.
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And so again, like if you trust Abby and you like her content, like it makes sense if you do. Like she's a
Yeah.
dietitian. She does make quality content that we could see why you would enjoy watching it.
And also like parasocial relationships are so bizarre.
Yes.
And like there are people I follow that I like adore and they do not know who I am. And I have been like occasionally influenced. I never do it because the cost is always like
I was gonna say, we always consider that.
that is always a like but like I have considered purchasing like merch and things from them just because you like someone so much.
Yeah.
So
Same.
it's very interesting. I think the biggest thing is just because like, and we're not saying her product is bad. We're not saying she's not trying to sell you a GLP-1 supplement. That would be insane.
This would be a different podcast
This
if
would
that
be a
was
different episode. It would be, there would be more hostility.
We might be like reporting to like the dietetics, the top guys up there.
Yeah, the ethics department.
Yeah.
Like, hello. But
so that's the thing. We do have a code of ethics to follow, and that's to be discussed too, actually, in this episode. But anyway, as you were.
It was just like very interesting. And like we said, and we noted, I don't think she's bashed protein powder. It's just like the supplement industry, it's the marketing around it, it's the price, all of that kind of together rub people the wrong way.
Yeah. So I can get why, again, if you guys are an Abbey lover, why you would have been a little bit upset with all this.
Yes.
Because we have a different perspective being dietitians rather than like her fan base, but I'm trying to see it from the eyes of people who are big fans of hers, and I can see why it would be upsetting. Yeah. I can also see, like you just said, like why you would want to buy this product too. Like I could totally understand that. I also have influencers that I follow and have for years, and they have cute merch sometimes. I also have never pulled the plug. I'm also too cheap, but I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I love those like new crew necks they just came out with or whatever. Or like, oh, they're gonna be
like
also or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like also since she's dietitian backed, that like holds a lot of weight where it's like, oh, a dietitian made protein powder.
Yes.
These dietitians have been yapping everywhere about the supplement industry. We finally have one that's dietitian made. So that's going to carry, depending on who it is.
Yeah. If they like dietitians.
Or it's going to carry nothing. But
yeah.
But if you watch Abbey Sharp, you're probably somewhat of a fan of her. Otherwise, you just either ignore her or you leave a hate comment.
I would say, or you're a hate viewer.
Yeah, one of the two.
Which I think we have some of those too.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys, our hate viewers.
Thanks for pushing our videos.
Thank you. Okay.
Let's talk about the price.
Let's discuss the price. Overall, I will note that most protein powders, especially like the trendy ones, they're so pricey. Like we said earlier, if you just get a basic tub of pea protein, you can get that for fairly cheap, for like less than $1 per serving. And they have some that are like they're probably tested and all of that, but most protein powders these days are pricey, and Abbey is not an exception.
No. I'm going to do some quick math, so just keep talking.
Okay, so if you just buy one bag one time, it is $65 for 20 servings. Tricky because that is not even a full month, which kind of sucks. See, it's like buy more than one per month. And if you do base your budget on a monthly basis, like that's kind of rough. Unnatural Vegan did the math too, and she mentioned something about how they offer free shipping at a certain threshold, and you have to like buy so many to get to that, and so they kind of are pushing you to buy more to meet that like free shipping baseline. I forget the exact numbers that it would end up at, but anyway, so it's at baseline $65 20 servings, or if you do the subscribe and save, there's almost always a deal on that for most supplements. It is $58.50 for those 20 servings. Which,
when doing the math, we quickly did. If you do the more expensive version, that comes out to $3.26, $3.26 per serving of your, how much protein is it? I'm feeling 16 grams of protein.
I think it's 22. 22, yeah.
Okay, 22. And then if you do the savings version,
subscribe,
it's $58.50 for 20 servings. That is $2.92 per serving.
Which again is not outrageous in the protein powder world, but what gets me though is she claims that she wants to, how'd she say it? Did I make a note here somewhere? She says that she like wants to make protein accessible to everybody.
Which I see this and I think of like, I don't know what your go-to comparison threshold for protein is, but I think of like an egg. And like there's about like 6-7 grams per egg. So I see this as 3 eggs for 1 serving. And I know 3 eggs is less than 292 or 326.
Yeah.
Even in this economy where eggs are now getting expensive.
And if you are eating a plant-based diet, most plant proteins are even cheaper than like meat, eggs, dairy. So, I mean, things like peas and tofu. Yeah, so tofu is relatively cheap as well. Also, side note, I mean, throw back to Andy's episode a few weeks ago. I bought some tofu. I haven't made it yet. I haven't cooked it yet, but it's in my fridge. Ross is grossed out by it, but it'll be a girl dinner. He won't have to partake.
Oh my gosh. I feel like if you can figure out how he likes it, Bobby didn't really love it until I started grilling it.
Yeah.
He likes it that air frying it.
I'm gonna try air frying it, I think. Yeah. Ross and I are both, well, he's more of a hater than I am. I'm just tentative about it, but that's my new goal, is to get him to like it too.
I'm excited.
But yes, it was pretty cheap.
Yeah. Tofu's pretty cheap. Like if you can find, it can get pricey, like stupidly pricey, but you just have to figure out how to buy it, like and where to buy it from. But these prices is interesting, especially with the weird shipping policies if you're trying to get that. Like I feel like if I'm paying $58.50 for a product, I would like the shipping to be free.
Yes.
My like threshold is like $50. I feel like anything above that, you owe me free shipping.
Yeah. Plus, I'm sure with Abbey being Canadian, a large chunk of her followers are also Canadian. And isn't Canadian dollar higher than the American dollar, US dollar? I think it is.
No idea.
I think it would be more in Canada, but of course, like they have different prices and all the different things. But anyway,
yep.
I did see some comments about that. They're like, yeah, but us Canadian folks are paying even more than that because things are just, our dollar's different.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
So interesting.
Also, her shaker bottle is $39, which this day and age, like a Yeti or not a Yeti, a Stanley is like almost 50 or whatever, right? If not more.
Yeah.
But a shaker bottle you can get for like a blender bottle for like $12 or less.
Yeah.
Actually, a spoon and a $1 cup, you could have your protein shake in.
Yeah.
I saw a comment.
I don't like that.
No. I saw a comment that said, quote, I could just imagine how disparaging Abbey would be about any other YouTube influencer trying to sell you a $39 protein shaker as essential.
Yeah.
She would have totally roasted that blender bottle. She'd also totally roast a supplement probably if someone tried to sell like a probiotic protein. I don't know. I don't want to say things that haven't actually happened and may not be true, but she has built that following on just like calling out issues, which again, there are many. And so I just wonder how she would respond if like, I don't know, if Carnivore King made the supplement or something, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting.
Oh, here it is. I made a quote about the accessible thing. She said in one video, I want to make meeting your protein goals accessible to all. LOL. Because you're charging almost $70 a month for protein.
Yeah. And I calculated it. If you did 1 serving per day and you used her 10% off or you like subscribe to a continuous supply, and this does not take into account shipping or anything, it'd be over $702 a year.
Dang.
On this. Which I just got billed for car insurance, so I think about car insurance.
I know. I translate that to like student loans, and I'm like, yep, that's a good chunk of that.
So it's interesting, especially when you could like get a cheap pea protein. Exactly. There's so many now.
Or again, if we're not anti-supplement, but if you just want to not even deal with these, you can totally meet your protein needs through food alone. Most people can.
Yeah.
I'm pro protein supplements in general, but I don't even use them every day. They're just there like as an ad needed thing for me.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think the price is honestly, despite everything she stands for and talks about, the price, of course, is the thing that I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It's
Interesting.
jarring. I think my favorite part is this next quote.
Yeah.
She has on like the about page of the supplement, the protein powders, it says, find food freedom by feeling full. She talks a lot about like her hunger crushing combo, which is basically what I talk about all the time too. I'm sure you do too, Emily, like just adding protein, fat, and carbs or
Oh,
fiber, excuse me, to your meal so you feel fuller. And so she's like known for that as well. And so, of course, with the protein powder, her whole thing is like the protein will help keep you full, which I get that. Like, I get what she's saying here. You know, being able to feel your fullness is actually even an intuitive eating principle, which she kind of dabbles in. But this is like sort of giving Slim Fast, Herbalife, like meal replacement vibes, where it's like you need to take this supplement if you want to feel that fullness.
it's
Slash
weird.
with the food freedom thing in there, like we usually tie food freedom with like eating disorder recovery. And so it's kind of like you cannot find food freedom unless you're taking this protein supplement. I don't know. She's obviously not saying that directly, but you could
Right.
easily make that connection in your head if you were someone who were like, oh, yeah, I have a hard time staying full. And I'm also trying to recover from an eating disorder. Like, oh, this could be for me.
It's like you have to be able to discuss the nuance with it, which like we talk about.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a weird, like almost, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like reach for
Mm,
like she's trying to combine
yeah.
her anti-diet message with this supplement. And I feel like she probably could have done this, but in maybe a better way.
Yeah. It's just, it's really hard to bring those two worlds together. Cause like we've discussed, I think we have on here, I know I have on my own content, like Whole 30, like they've done
Mm.
a whole bunch of like food freedom stuff, trying to
I think
like,
we did Whole 30
I think we
because I
did
remember
too.
us talking about this.
I know I made a whole YouTube video about this because they had a book that was like, I forget the title of
Yep.
it, but it was like finding food freedom with Whole 30, which is literally an
It's
elimination diet.
crazy. Yeah.
So agreed. Like I see what she's trying to do to like bring these worlds together, but that's really tough because they don't have much overlap.
Yeah. I feel like she should have gone more like stuck to the anti-supplement industry
Yeah.
route here.
Yeah.
Like
Stay
that
out
would
of the
make
food
more
freedom.
sense with a supplement in general.
Agreed. Agreed. Speaking of recommending supplements, I think our last point, honestly, we're almost done here with our bashing.
We're keeping it concise.
Oh boy.
We're getting better.
We are getting better. We're usually be like an hour and a half by now. And we still be going.
Yeah.
I highly doubt she's seeing clients at this point, like one-on-one. She's like full-time content.
Yeah. The dream.
But if she was a dietitian, like seeing a patient in her clinic, this is where like the code of ethics things comes in. Like her recommendations for supplements would be biased for sure, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
That's another tricky thing. We've discussed dietitians and content creators and like that overlap in our Washington Post episode, which I guess we'll link that one below too. We have tons for you guys to listen to after this.
Yeah.
Because like I work with brands, I recommend certain things, but I don't have any brand that I'm like completely loyal to. And I make sure that I like when I'm signing contracts, they don't say like, oh, you can only recommend this protein powder
Yeah.
because that just feels like a conflict. Because if I had a patient or a client who wouldn't benefit from that one, I'm not going to recommend it. And so again, I'm not going to speak about a situation that's not real, but I wonder how that would come up if a dietitian did have their own supplement line, but also saw patients one on one, if they would only recommend that supplement.
I think that is the benefit of being a content creator,
Yeah.
is you don't have to worry about that.
No, you
She
can
also
just,
now just tunnel, she like barricaded herself from any protein powder brand
that's true.
sponsorship.
Yeah.
But I think she'll be okay.
I think she'll make it out without them, but she did work a lot with built the protein bars. I wonder if they'll work with her
Mm,
still.
yeah.
Time will tell.
We'll just have to see.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't think we were as mean as we
No, I think we're
could have
diplomatic.
been.
Yeah.
We're trying to stay neutral-ish. We have there's a lot of bias coming from a lot of different places, just given we are dietitians, we are content creators, we have occasionally consume some of her videos. It's an interesting place to come from. And I think there is a lot of nuance, and unfortunately, that is something that there's a huge lack of on the internet. So overall, I think this is better.
We've seen worse. Literally last week, we saw way worse.
There's so much worse out there. I don't know if there is a perfect protein powder or supplement.
Or a perfect person to make it either.
Yeah.
Like, again, like if you are going to buy one, I'm glad it's one that's third party tested and backed by a dietitian. Like that does say something.
Yeah. But the lasting thing to know is just like the IBS part that makes me a little bit nervous. There's a lot that goes into this. Like, we are not sponsored. We keep mentioning pea protein. We are not sponsored by any type of pea protein or anything. But like, if you're a little bit nervous, maybe try a different plant-based protein. Maybe try tart cherry juice, ashwagandha, digestive enzymes by itself if you are nervous, or if like money isn't a concern to you, like you can just try the supplement. Like, no harm there.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, give it to someone else. Additionally, the price, there are cheaper ways to get protein, like we talked about, eggs, other protein powders. But I feel like you're paying for the brand, you're paying for the Abbey Sharp approval. And that goes into our last point of like, don't put all of your faith into one influencer. There are two of us, so can you put all of your faith into us? Because we hold each other accountable sometimes, although we have to get like not fact checked. We have to get
Well, I was just telling Emily off air that I would have encouraged her to buy 3 sweatshirts that she didn't need if I was with her.
Luckily, we have Ross and Bobby who check both of us. So you
the 4 of us combined, it works out. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a checks and balance team over here at the Up-Beet Dietitians. But don't put all your faith in one influencer. People are humans. People are flawed.
Yeah.
Not everyone's perfect. Abbey Sharp is not perfect, and that's okay. But make sure you're getting your information from multiple different sources. And it's okay that if you like love Abby's videos, nothing wrong with that. If you don't love them, that's also fine. No, there's not going to be one influencer content creator that is for everyone. That's never going to be plausible.
Or even like one person who you agree with on every single thing they say. Like, that's just we're too complex as humans. Like with this podcast, we're sure there's episodes we've done that you guys agree with things we've said. Even in this one, there's probably things that you were like, oh yeah, totally. And things that you were like, I disagree with that.
And even us, we don't agree with everything we've said on this podcast.
We called ourselves out from 2 years ago.
We also have multiple reaction videos. So go watch those where we look back at things we said 3 years ago and our nutrition philosophies have changed. So like, it's not going to be crystal clear, black and white. You don't have to agree with every single thing. I think you just have to decide what your deal breakers are. I see this kind of in the book space, book talk space.
Yes.
Where I want to agree with all the people's opinions on, well, it's also so unserious because it's books, but there are some things that I'm like, ooh, if you support this author, that is something I'm like in 2024 where it's like I will not cross this line type of thing. So just like figure out what you're able to look past.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's that with Abby.
That's that. I feel like if Abby's watching this, I like want to make a comment.
Like Abby.
Just to
Abby. If you're not Abby, please log off.
Yeah. Please scroll. But I don't know what I would say. So I guess we'll talk some other time, Abby.
As fellow dietitians, it's tough out here.
Solidarity as
like dietitians. We understand it is tough. You want to put a product into the super toxic industry that you like believe in. And I think she does stand behind that. Like, I think her product isn't inherently bad. It's just some of the marketing and the price and the ingredients might not be the best move, but
Yes.
that's
Thank you. That's what
okay.
my brain was thinking. I'm glad you put it into words.
Yeah. We're not hating on Abby today.
No. I'm
Not
sure
today.
we'll hate on someone probably next week.
Yeah. Well, next week we'll be
We'll be on
throwbacks.
break. We'll throw back
We'll
to an
see
episode
you.
where we hated on someone.
Yeah, it'll just be all the influencer reviews.
Yeah, let's just do a break of like hate videos.
Then people will be like, geez, these people really
I'm
need to get a life.
sick of them.
And we'll throw one nice one in there.
Well, that said, we have plenty for you guys to tune into after this. We will be on break for a few weeks, but we'll share some of our favorites. Until then, go subscribe to Substack. We will put our link. It's very barren right now, but if you want to be one of the first founding subscribers over there,
yeah, we'll
we
add
can
it in
share
our
that.
show notes. I feel like we could do website and show notes.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because we only ever link our website.
Yeah, we can
add.
both.
We can afford to add one more thing.
Well, we have plenty of room on like YouTube. At least we have so much word count left.
Yeah,
we can be so much more annoying.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys at the next season. Until then, be sure to follow us on every single social media and go follow both of our YouTube so we can also succeed and keep doing this as well, because your positive validation helps us keep doing this.
Oh, seriously, when someone said that we are funny the other day in our comments,
my day was made.
Thank you to you if you're listening. That literally made our entire day.
Yeah, you guys are so kind.
Yes, we couldn't do it without you. All right, guys, we'll see you next season.
Bye.